that kind introduction. I guess I'm okay to work with and work for, but needless to say, I've been in real estate for the better part of 2.5 decades. I'm licensed out here in California. I'm also an investor, have about 341 doors under management, mostly through adaptive reuse. So bought a handful of hotels during the pandemic, converted 334 keys into 341 studio apartments, doing about 1,300 units of ground up self-storage development, also converting Kmart's across the country into interior self-storage facility, basically climate control, so taking big box retailers and applying the adaptive reuse uh, theory and converting them into self-storage facilities. Also manage about a team of about 115 Lamonts, as you will, specializing in creative financing, acquire cash flowing assets through capital stacking, where we can unlock a large percentage of the seller's equity by, in essence, leveraging their equity forward and then paying out the seller installment payments on their equity, thus getting to their purchase price and coming in with a large down payment.
Sounds
Um,
wonderful.
yeah, it works quite well. It's something that's necessary. I believe my group, my organization is the new arm of buyers because of a sluggish economy, high interest rates. It's no longer 2022. Sellers still want to get their price, but in most instances, it's difficult to get a conventional loan covered service with higher interest rates, as well as generate a decent cash on cash return coming in with a large down payment. So if we can partner with the seller and then leverage their equity, where we are, in essence, taking title, placing it into the new entity, whether that's an LLC or a trust, entirely up to the seller. But in essence, we are now putting the seller in a position where they're not in second position, but they're getting a preferred equity position, aka basically put into the operating agreement, where if we fail to execute on our business plan, if we fail to make timely payments, we can also put other recourse measures in there as well. But in essence, if we fail to operate as promised, we get pushed out of that entity. Therefore, the seller does not need to file a foreclosure. So I believe this is far better than first position seller financing, obviously better than second position seller financing. This method has been around for some time. I think it's reemerging due to the fact that we're in a difficult market for sellers. And so if we can capital stack where we're blending interest rates to where we have a blended interest rate well below the seller's existing cap rate, we can make it a win-win for both parties.
So, Jacob, do you have any questions?
I've got a lot of questions. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if it's time span, but pretty much, what's your intentions? Are you trying to keep it a campground?
Trying to keep it a campground. We're looking to buy cash flowing assets. I'm wanting to get more into RV and mobile home parks. So the intent would be keeping it as a campground, increasing some management efficiencies, and also increasing the net operating income, thus increasing the value of said park. So that would be the overall intent, and certainly can answer any other additional questions you may have.
What type of modifications or building concepts are you planning to do the existing property?
I haven't taken a deep dive into that just yet. I think initially we were just wanting to see if you're comfortable with the structure. Of course, do introductions, get past that initial hurdle. Obviously, the offer is going to be contingent upon appraisal, contingent upon obtaining said loan. And so during that time frame of doing our due diligence, we'll take a deeper dive into the operations, into the park, see what we could do to increase efficiencies, and of course, make sure it's something that we want to continue to pursue.
And what type of inspections do you plan to conduct, and what's your background experience as far as operating campgrounds?
Well, being in the Marine Corps, does that count? I've done plenty of camping, but not so much on operations. My overarching experience is adaptive reuse. So I like to think that I got my hands into commercial real estate very early on. So taking on very large projects, converting a hospitality asset, going through the entitlements and rezoning, adding kitchenettes, getting all the rooms sprinklered, getting the necessary electrical sub panels in to support the additional appliances. I would think that I took on a very challenging project. Not to say that buying a campground doesn't have its challenges, but I'm certainly up task and certainly have that vast experience of rolling up my sleeves and getting the job done.
Do you have any questions for me in general?
I guess first and foremost, why are you looking to sell?
Main reason, I have family so I mean, it is a new business to me. I just worked in a factory 72 hours a week. I bought this to try to have freedom, and I realized working 72 hours a week turned into working more. However, I try to handle most of it on my own. But all in all, I would just like to be closer to family, and that's really it. I mean, it is a good market for campgrounds right now, and multiple reasons.
Yeah, I could see that. Being the fact that I'm in Northern California, just outside of Sacramento, most of my pursuits, as far as commercial assets, businesses backed by real estate, etc., is where I can essentially operate the business as an absentee owner. Is there staff and/or management that I could leverage currently?
Honestly, I've just been trying to keep payroll down. I live on site, so I do most of it all over the phone. Most of the help that I have is typically basically yard work in the summertime, but most of it I can handle myself. They just call me, I run credit cards. There's not really, staff and employees. I don't really have much as far as to that.
Okay. Do you know of or have any experience leveraging or working with a third party management company to kind of replace your day to day, or is this something you're looking to stay on and continue to do?
It's all new to me. Like I said, I'm willing to do whatever.
Okay.
Pretty much what I do is I live on site 24/7, and I just handle everything.
Okay. So would you want to continue to the day-to-day management? Is that something you're interested in doing for a fee? Or would you at a minimum be open to staying on during a transitional period?
I'm open to either.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll certainly explore both. I don't know what third-party operatives would look like in this space. So I think during our due diligence, we can explore what that would look like. And then we can chat about, either you staying on, us bringing in a third-party management, or doing some type of hybrid approach.
What's your the timeline for the due diligence period?
I think we have 30 business days on the
Oh,
letter of
that's
intent.
fast.
Any other
That's-
questions for me?
No. I guess one other additional question I would have would be, is there room for expansion, and also is there room to add additional services that you could bill for?
That's the unique thing about this property is, I mean, I started. It used to be a golf course, and I started off very small, did pretty well in a few years. I would say majority of the campground is actually only over a few acres, and the property is 65. So the expansion opportunity is definitely there in multiple aspects.
Okay. And then I'm really heavy into RV and mobile home parks. Do you know if zoning would permit the addition of and or expansion into adding RV pads?
Yeah, you can definitely add RV pads. You just have to, the main thing is to keep, I want to say it's 75 feet away from the creek. As far
Okay.
as that, I am outside city limits, so it makes things a lot easier to get accomplished versus I'm like the very first property right outside city limits. And you mentioned something about doing storage units. I actually was looking into doing that myself because the way the property's set up, there's three chunks of land that are separated by the creek. So you could almost do three different concepts, whether, I mean, I was going to take one 20 section or 20 acre section and possibly just have storage units. I get a lot of people that check in and they're looking for storage options as well too.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking about dividing that into thirds, doing a self-storage facility with both boat and RV storage,
Mhm.
and then having an RV park, and then continuing the campground operations in order to cash flow, pay that debt service that I'm essentially leveraging to get you your down payment in order for me to then maybe get a hard money loan to invest and do that type of expansion that you mentioned. Cool. And then as far as creek and or river access, how much frontage do you have?
I'd have to check the particulars on that, but so you got Bachelor Run Creek that, like I said, it goes through the 65 acres. It's almost like a pie cut in thirds. I mean, it's about a third each way.
Yep.
There's plenty of fish in there. It's all separated by creeks. Everything that's pretty much been done on the property, I have completely redone. Like I said, it was a golf course and it was abandoned for years. So everything, all the cabins on there, I've got 7 cabins. Those are all paid for and redone. The electric was all new. The building itself is 7,200 square feet. I used to be a landlord. I actually considered sectioning that building into 3 different apartments, possibly. I chose to make the upper part a living area, so you got a 2,400 square foot home that's been completely redone. Unfortunately, that was during the wood crisis around COVID, but I probably put $500,000 just in wood on that building. But that building alone could be turned into multiple concepts, either renting out as apartments or expanding it into different business concepts too.
Take me through the golf course. So um, I'm assuming that there is some paved parking and or there is a facility or pro shop or and or restaurant. Did it have any of those features as a golf course?
The main building used to be the clubhouse for the golf course. Uh,
Okay.
it it really didn't have much to it. It was pretty bare. And then I decided to insulate everything and, like I said, redid the whole 7,200 square feet. Um, so the middle floor is actually the event venue. So we do like graduations, birthday parties, weddings. It has a bar theme set up. My intentions for the spring was to turn that into a bar. We've had plenty of people. There's only one local bar in the area. We have plenty of campers that have basically begged and so they would go there all the time. Um, Again, it's just kind of me running everything, so I'm trying not to overdo myself more than I have to. So I'm gradually um, getting into that concept. As far as food, I did have used to be an ice cream shack. We were going to make it a food shack. I've had a lot of people asking for food. Again, there's not a lot of food options in the area. Um, so my thoughts were to either keep the event center or take a different floor and make it an event center. But the main thing I've been hearing is people want food and alcohol, and that would dramatically increase a lot of value. It's more how much do I want to put into and dedicate to continue. Um, Another thing I have, as far as revenue, has been pretty good for just being open a few years. I will say it's not full hookup. However, all the services are available. I would say 8 out of 10 phone calls that I get, they don't book for the simple fact that I don't have full hookup yet. So if you were to add full hookup, I could almost guarantee that the sales would at least 5 times instantly in 1 year. That's probably a $20,000-$30,000 investment I just haven't got to yet. I've been
Okay,
kind
that
of
was gonna be my
building
next question.
I've been building it from the ground up. So, the septic system's all brand new and installed. I think to put in the water is about a $15,000 deal, and you just got to run the pipes to it. Um, but that would be my main suggestion is to add the full hookup, and that would, I mean, that would probably over $1 million in a year just to do that one simple thing.
Okay,
But
and what's
there's expansions everywhere. It's a very unique property. It's very
It's
different.
it's beautiful property.
how close is the major city, and what's the population look like, and how close is the major airport?
I'd have to I mean, the major airport, you've got Indianapolis, which would be about an hour and a half. Chicago would probably be about 2.5 hours. It is a small little town. It's unique. It's Amish, so you got a lot of horse and buggies running around. Um,
Nice.
I mean, it's not the town's small. However, the town that I have is literally a 25 to 30-minute shot to about 6 other towns. So it's kind of like that little monkey in the middle that's 25 minutes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's some really big jobs going on too that I get a lot of traveling contractors for. There's a Stellantis is one of them. That's a battery plant in Kokomo. They got billions of dollars to build all this stuff, so you get a lot of contractors coming in from out of state. A lot of them from California, actually. Um, and then there's another one they just started doing. It's the Eli Lilly plant in Lebanon, which is about 45 minutes away, and I've got a lot of business from that. And those are two things that should, as far as the traveling contractors, keep business going pretty well for a few years itself.
Okay.
I do know there's also, I'm not sure the zoning, but one big section you could probably put some sort of housing. I know the town's been begging for more housing too. Um, I'd have to look into all the rules on that, but like I said, you could almost take each section and have its own business, really. I mean, like I said, that 90% of my income is probably over a 3-acre span, which leaves like 60 something acres to really do whatever with.
And is there roads or paths that go around the entire golf course? What does that look like as far as access to the 65 acres?
As far as on the property, it's mostly gravel. I've added
Okay.
thousands and thousands on gravel. Um, as far as the main entrance area, you're on a main road. You're on a state road 75, so it's perfect. It's a very busy road in general.
Perfect.
And then you got like 2 side roads on the other side. In the back, there's not much, but the main frontage is a very busy highway.
Okay. And is there multiple access points or just one access point to the golf course?
You're gonna have your main entrance,
Yep.
to go to the main building. You're gonna have a separate entrance that would go to the campground, and there's a few little pull-off spots that you can enter in other ways as well too. But everything's flat to where you can easily add gravel and access pretty much any of it.
And then of the 65 acres, is all of that usable, or is any of that in like a flood zone?
To my understanding, it's all usable. They were saying a little bit around the creek is supposedly a flood zone. However, that was established a very long time ago, and I've never even seen the creek above half full.
Okay. Got it. Any hunting or any hunting lodges in the area?
Not that I'm aware of. That's something that we've had a lot of people too. So there's a particular area that's about 20 acres that's sectioned off. We currently use that for disc golf. Um, my intentions were to possibly remove the disc golf and put a shooting range in there or turn it into a winery. We've had a lot of people say that would be a good option to do, is to, like, so the sky's the limit. But to my knowledge, there's not that many shooting ranges in the area.
So I think initially, in order for me to continue to be interested in this opportunity, I think it's a great opportunity, would be, keeping you on at some level, whether it's, management and or a consultant, And then the initial investment after purchase would be, you know, getting those full hookups that you were mentioning.
Yeah,
So I would,
the full
I would be
hookups
reinvested.
definitely.
Yeah, you're saying it's going to cost me about $30,000 to do that?
As far as putting the water in, I would say from the quotes I've had, which was last year, is around 15 to 25,000, and you just got to run the piping.
Okay.
Another option, I am a little different. I include electricity. However, I mean, it's not separately metered, but if I was to separately meter the sites, I'm not sure the cost of that, but that would be um, a good way to increase revenue as well too.
Okay.
As far as expenses, and honestly, the main expenses is the upkeep of the 65 acres. I would say, 80% of it's grass, so there's a lot of lawn mowing to do.
Mm-hmm.
The other expense really is going to be the electricity usage. If I was
Mm-hmm.
to, I'm not sure the cost to it, but if there's a way to utilize some solar concepts,
Yep.
that would those are the two high expenses: is maintenance of the property and the electricity. Other than
Understood.
that, there's really not that much expenses besides the basic stuff. I have no water.
How,
I'm on a well, so there's no water bills.
okay. How close are you to like the nearest RV or mobile home park?
There's a few that are probably, there's a couple that are probably 25, 35 minutes away. Most of them are all sold out.
Okay. Do you know what they're charging for a monthly rate for a pad for an RV?
Probably around my costs are higher. I'm more on the low end, so if I was to raise rates, there's more room there. I charge, after taxes and fees at 710.39 a pad for 4 weeks, versus them. I would say the closest to me is probably around 650, but they have to pay electric separately.
Understood. How many pads do you think we could put in one of those three sections, or if not all, if I wanted to build that out completely as an RV park?
There's, you could have hundreds, literally hundreds.
Perfect.
Right now I have 36, and that's just in a tiny little section. I'm not sure the expansion as far as the electric for what it can handle in that particular area, but you could easily right across the creek. You could almost mirror that and have another 36 just in a small little section, and then you still probably would have an easy 50 acres to do whatever else with, whether it's storage units. Like I said, the sky's the limit. I mean, I'm barely utilizing any of the property, honestly.
Okay. Well, I'm still interested and would certainly want to explore this further. Do you have any questions for me?
I'm sure I will later. At the moment, I'm.
Oh.
Connie, do you have any questions?
Have you seen a map of the campground? Have you
Not
seen
yet.
it? Not yet.
Yeah, I'm actually in my vehicle. I just left the gym. I just
Okay.
got home from a workout, so I haven't really looked at any of that information just yet, but that'll be my next step. All right,
Okay.
thanks, Lamont. If you want to give me, I have another meeting coming up here in 2 minutes, but Lamont, if you
Oh,
want to
okay.
give me a call at noon, we can chat more offline.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well,
Okay.
I appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to working together collectively. I'd love to invest into maximizing this footprint and this opportunity. So let's continue to keep the conversation and dialogue open and talk about next steps here in another conversation.
Okay. Sounds great.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Mhm.